thought I might do a quick sketchbook tour today. It's actually the smallest sketchbook that I've ever worked on, and the only one that I've finished for several reasons. I've always struggled with consistency, even in drawing, which is kind of my thing. And it is exactly for this reason that in 2019 I decided to challenge myself to draw every day. The idea was to show up every day on this sketchbook and force myself to draw. Always drawing for tattoos. I felt like I was almost, let me say, losing the grip on some techniques. For example, portrait drawing. This exercise actually helped me a lot, not only with consistency in itself, but also with confidence. Because it's nice to see that even when you maybe don't feel like drawing, you don't feel inspired, you're tired perhaps, you can still come up with something that's not that bad. So let's begin. So this is a small moleskin sketchbook that I was given as a gift. So I left this part empty because who cares? As you can see, on the first day I was not feeling inspired and scared of the white page, so it didn't really go well. Moving on, I thought I might do a sketch only on the right pages. Then I realized that the sketchbook would finish very quickly. This is with no reference and it's very bad, but you know, it's exercise. Again with a blank page, I'm sorry for that. Another sketch with no reference, little better, but there are many things that I don't really like about it. Here I realized my mistake. These are from reference actually, and I don't know what kind of bug this is. It's just a nasty animal. And this is, I think in English you call them pitcher plants. I'm not sure. It's part of some kind of carnivorous plant. I love carnivorous plants. I have several, but I'm not sure I know the English names. I'm sorry about that. No reference, reference. And this is when I started to understand that I had to draw more than I was drawing. This is not that bad. No reference, and you can tell, but still good exercise. I like the shading on the hair now that I look at it. I didn't remember it. No reference for either of these, and they're horrible. And here we start with the reference. Let me know in the comments if you guess who this eye belongs to, because it's someone famous actually. Yeah, foxes are difficult. Going on, I realized that I could use this sketchbook and this exercise also to come up with designs for tattoos. So I started playing with leaves and eyes, and also fruit and eyes, and more fruit and more leaves and more eyes, and the seashell with an eye, and more leaves with eyes. And I actually got to tattoo this. Perhaps it wasn't exactly this one, but yeah, same concept. Angry pear. I didn't use references for these. I did use for this, and this is I don't know how to call it. It's one of my favorite desserts. Favorite to make actually, because it's very quick and easy and delicious. Anyway. And sparrows. I love sparrows. This was a good exercise, and the drawings are not great, but I focused on trying to be more confident with my marks. I usually don't have this heavy-handed approach to drawing. They're not that bad, they're not that great, they're kind of in the middle. I used references for these. I found out that I kind of like drawing feet. People usually hate feet because they never draw them, I think. More eyes. I think someone actually stole my idea for this as a tattoo. Anyway, I don't know. Perhaps it wasn't stolen. It was just not that original to begin with. No reference, and you can see that. Another sparrow, because I probably lacked any better idea. And this is great. I love this page because it's horrible. This is when I had no time. I was probably very tired and I just couldn't, but I did show up anyway. I don't know if I can translate what I wrote here. Something like, I really can't today. Sometimes it's just like that. More exercises. I don't even know how to talk about this. I was trying a different approach here. Didn't really like it, honestly. I used references for these, and this was a picture of this albino girl. So beautiful, incredibly beautiful. I think I started using a white pastel here, but since all of these drawings were in graphite and I usually use 2B pencils, I started using a fixative as well, because you probably saw on the other pages that some of the graphite transfers from one page to the next one. I didn't want that. However, the fixative kind of turned the white pastel a bit yellowish, so it looks exactly like the white of the page. No difference there. That's a pity. And there are some famous people on this sketchbook. I won't tell you who they are, but I hope you can guess it. And if you do, please write them down in the comments, because I would love to see if I actually got them right. I mean, I don't think I did, especially with her. I mean, if you can tell who she is and who the next ones are, perhaps I didn't do that bad of a job. She's another example. This is another day in which I had no idea what to draw, so I draw the typical Italian gesture. Non-Italians, you are getting this wrong. Okay? I won't go into detail. This is a snail that I tried to style for a tattoo idea, but don't like it. In this case, I was trying to get better at shading with single strokes, which is not easy at all. Another famous person that I hope you can get. Cat skull, because cats are great and skulls are great. I don't remember if I used a reference for this. I'm not sure, honestly. I did not use references for this. Not that I like it, but well, it was a good exercise. Other famous person that I hope you can get are the white that became yellow. No reference, and probably not even that much time. I don't know what happened here. I probably was very tired. I was just trying to create something organic. I don't know. Other famous person. Oh, this is really something. This was another day in which I had no idea what to draw. I did not feel inspired, so I just thought, well, I'll draw a blob. And I drew a blob. I loved shading his belly and his little rolls, and I like the fact that he's reading. No reference, don't like it, but it's okay, I guess. It's okay. Oh, sorry. This one, I have no idea. I mean, I honestly don't remember if I used a reference or not. Perhaps I didn't, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I was exploring. Yeah, this exercise is good for that, I suppose. You get to explore styles, techniques. I probably didn't feel like drawing that much. I have no idea. Oh, and here's him again. Poor little thing, very sad, drinking. I think I should probably do something with this guy. I mean, I only drew that sketch on this one, but I mean, look at him. You can only love him. Swallow, because, you know, tattooers, swallows. Eh. And this is when I actually really started to explore. I thought I would try shading with, I don't even know how to describe this. I did not use references for these, and I think you can tell, but I wasn't happy with this exercise. But looking at it now, I don't know, perhaps it was and is worth exploring. There is a tattooer that does something similar already, so perhaps not. I don't know. Other famous person tried to use the same technique. Do not like the result. His eyes are too small. Anyway, I think you've seen this picture everywhere on Pinterest. It's very beautiful. I just tried to recreate it. But looking at it now, I probably didn't feel like drawing that day. Pizza, because you need pizza in your life, you know? And it's one of my greatest loves. Eye bulb, because eyes and light bulbs. I don't know. You probably can see from my logo as well that I do love drawing eyes. No reference, same exercise. I'm not convinced. I used a reference for this, and I don't know, it probably was one of those days, you know, it's really bad. Raven, because who doesn't love ravens? But because, again, Joy Fit is nice. It's a good exercise, and it's not that difficult if you work on it, actually. I don't think this is a famous person. I have no idea. I just found this picture and tried to replicate it, but the lighting was really bad. Not a good lighting for drawing. This is really, 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 really bad. I kind of want to apologize for this, but again, the idea of the sketchbook, of this exercise, was to show up every day, even when this is all that you can do. Let me know if you recognize her. I think this is one of the best, although I do need to improve my hair game. I really don't like drawing hair. A magpie. I haven't talked about this. I love magpies, and you know, my nickname is Lord Gazza, and Gazza is Italian for magpie. So this is me. Yeah, I was experimenting here. I don't know what this is. We'll never know, I guess. Another exercise, another experiment. I don't know, drawing smoke is difficult, guys. I don't like this. I mean, that it's very flat. That it's not great as a drawing. But I think that that day I was thinking, I've never drawn a frog in my entire life. And I love frogs, they're so cute. But I think I need to work on it a little bit more. No reference. Trying to use the same technique as before. Don't like it. Nah. These are These are bad. No, these are bad. These are really bad. I have no idea. I probably used a reference for this, but I can't remember. I don't know why I wrote fail on this one, because it's not that bad. I think I wasn't happy with her mouth. Anyway, another famous person. I hope you get who she is. And this is the last page, because I considered this part of the cover. And I love this. I love mushrooms. And I love drawing mushrooms. And I kind of like the way I did. Although, looking at it now, years later, it could use a little bit more shading here. Anyway. And that's it. It wasn't easy, especially if you're not used to doing this kind of thing. And by the end, I was, on one hand, kind of relieved that I didn't have to force myself to draw every day just for this, but also a little bummed that it was already over, because I started at the end of April and I finished it on the 15th of July. So it didn't really last that long. I think it was a very good exercise and I would like to do it again sometime. Always on a small sketchbook, because I have tons of other things to do and I really cannot commit to drawing something big every day other than what I already do for work. It did help with my confidence when drawing, and also I learned to be a bit more fast. But as you noticed, it was kind of like brainstorming when you have no ideas, but you have to produce something. You can come up with things like that blob guy, which I love, or explore new styles. It was a great exercise, because what I've been doing for this past year, especially since I started tattooing, is always drawing with a purpose, with tattooing in mind. So it can be very limiting. Is that a word? For similar reasons, I'm now working on the 100 heads challenge, which I won't complete in 10 days because I'm already so late, because, you know, life has been lifing at me, and I'm on the 4th day today, and I've only drawn 17 heads. I didn't have time. I mean, life happens, but it's a very good exercise, and I'm already learning a lot. So I'll be talking about that when I'm finished, which will hopefully be very soon, although not in 10 days. If you ever feel like you're stuck in your, artistic path, I do suggest you try this exercise, because it's really helped me in ways that I did not anticipate. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and got something out of this, perhaps some new ideas. And again, if you guessed who those people are, let me know. Please do let me know, because otherwise I will feel like I failed. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching, and perhaps consider subscribing, and see you next time. Limiting. Both.